Iraqi and Kurdish fighters are continuing to lead the advance towards the city of Mosul in the intensifying campaign to overthrow Islamic State militants there. The ground force is made up of Iraqi soldiers, Kurds and local tribesmen. And Dr Roger Shanahan, a research fellow at the Lowy Institute, has been telling Anne Barker that the Kurds, known as the Peshmerga, are a key part of the military operation.
Well, they prove themselves quite effective for a variety of reasons. Probably firstly, there's quite a degree of experience amongst some of the senior Peshmerga. Again, they're because they share the same ethnic identity, their motivation is quite high, and also their unity of purpose is markedly different to some of the main force Iraqi units. So they are quite effective fighters. They're able to attack Mosul and Islamic State from different axes than the Iraqi army is doing. So the Iraqi army is really coming from the south, and they're doing some of the preliminary operations.
So where are they getting their weapons from, the Peshmerga? How much of it is coming from, say, the US and the US-led forces, even Australia, and how much from Iraq itself?
Well, the coalition has provided small arms to them, particularly including Australia during the crises around Mount Sinjar, when Islamic State were threatening the Yazidis. There was a great push from the West to arm the Kurds, who were really seen as the only armed group that could, on the ground, who could stop Islamic State. So they received a degree of weaponry and ammunition from the West during then. We've seen over the last couple of weeks and couple of months that up to 2 brigades worth of heavier equipment has been provided by the US military to the Peshmerga in advance of operations against Mosul. So we've seen armoured transport, we've seen mortars, we've seen anti-tank missiles. So a fair degree of more advanced weaponry, but the US and the coalition has to be very careful about what they provide. It has to be approved by the Iraqi government because everybody is a bit nervous about what it might be used for after Islamic State is defeated.
We've heard stories about how the Iraqi army 2 years ago fled from Mosul when ISIS took control. I mean, would you say the Peshmerga are perhaps better fighters than the Iraqi soldiers themselves?
Well, it's always a difficult question about, there are several reasons why the Iraqi Army's 3 divisions were defeated. Poor leadership, lack of a strategic aim. Some of the groups have been hollowed out and probably less motivated to fight at that point in time. Certainly Peshmerga are much more highly motivated because they're a unitary group of fighters. That having been said, and that's probably another one of the reasons why it's very important for the Iraqi army to be seen to retake Mosul, because they're the ones who let it fall in the first place. The last thing you would want is for this narrative to be constructed where the Kurds are the ones who helped take back a city that the Iraqi government had lost. You need the Iraqi government to be seen to be the ones retaking it.
That's Dr Roger Shanahan from the Lowy Institute speaking to Anne Barker.